Chris Rock just delivered a comedy blow to Donald Trump, but Karoline Leavitt irritated him live on TV. This drama burst on live television. Comedy icon Chris Rock grabbed the stage, mic in hand, and a sneaky smirk regarding Trump's marriage. Melania doesn't live in the White House, she's trapped in there, wishing Donald vanishes like his failing casino. The audience erupted in laughter, but as Karoline Leavitt came in, everything changed. With a smart suit and an unwavering gaze, she transformed the stage into Rock's nightmare. Before getting into the tale, leave a comment about where you're viewing from, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on the newest stories. As the stage lights illuminated the studio, presenter Samantha Pierce walked out, her professional grin betraying her inquiring gaze. Welcome to The Pulse. Tonight we have two special guests, Chris Rock, the comedic superstar, and Karoline Leavitt, White House press secretary. Let us welcome them. The audience exploded when Chris Rock arrived from stage left wearing a slick black leather jacket and smiled as if he was ready for a fight. He waved and sat down, microphone already in hand. Samantha moved forward, her tone both interested and seductive. Chris, you had the whole nation laughing up with your Melania Trump joke last week. Could you explain? What did you mean by saying she wanted Donald carried away? Rock gave out a loud chuckle, turning his head toward the crowd. What did I mean? Listen, Samantha. Melania is not the first lady. She's a model locked in a marriage contract that even the worst lawyer would refuse to sign. I suppose she stands in front of the mirror every night, rehearsing I'm fine in 5 languages while hoping for a Category 5 cyclone to wash Donald Trump into the Pacific. The crowd lost it, some whistled, and the studio buzzed like a fire. Rock rose up and paced the stage, the microphone jammed against his lips like a weapon. Seriously, have you seen Melania at those press briefings? She's standing there, gazing at Donald as if she'd exchanged Milan Fashion Week for this man who peered into an eclipse. I'm not kidding, Trump manages the nation like a cancelled Apprentice show with poor ratings. And Melania is the one competitor who can't vote him out, and she knows it. I read somewhere that from 2017 to 2021, she appeared publicly with Trump less than 200 times, which is less than the amount of tweets he made from the White House. The audience erupted again, with applause mingling with raucous laughing. Samantha chimed in, Chris, you have statistics to back that up, but don't you think it's a little excessive? Rock arched his eyebrow at her, a bit much, Samantha, I haven't even started. Trump believes he is King Midas and that everything he touches turns to gold. However, everything he touches fails, from casinos to airlines to this marriage. Melania is live evidence that she is true gold trapped in Trump's rusted copper smelter. I suppose she's wanted a divorce since he offered to purchase Greenland like it was a KFC bucket. The crowd laughed more and someone yelled directly at Chris. Rock gestured to the audience, see, they know I'm right, stage right stirred, and Karoline Leavitt walked out. The gathering was silent for a short second before murmuring spread. She walked with the determination of a warrior, wearing a tight navy suit and pulling her blonde hair up high. Leavitt sat across from Rock, her steely glare on him, but she didn't say anything yet. Rock looked at her with an unwavering smile. Oh look, Trump's rescue squad has arrived. What are you going to do, kid? Call the Secret Service to arrest me for making the audience laugh, or hand me that contract Melania signed by mistake for a quick read? A few giggles burst out, but the air became thicker. Samantha turned to face Leavitt. Karoline, you've heard Chris, what do you think? Leavitt pursed her lips and rested her palms softly on the table, fingers tapping like a countdown. She remained mute, eyes fixed on Rock. He didn't care and dove back in. Listen, Karoline, I know you're Trump's spokesman. How much do they pay you? $180,000 per year. But you have to confess, Melania looks at Trump as I look at my tax statement. How long has she been cleaning his image? Since that day, he has gazed into the eclipse without blinking. I suppose she wanted to scream, Donald, where are your eyes that can't see? I'm dying in here, but she's trapped, and Trump believes it's the greatest marriage in history, as if he won the election with 100% of the votes. Rock moved closer to Leavitt's table and pointed at her. This youngster may say anything he wants, but Melania struck the worst bargain in history, worse than Trump's agreement with voters, which cost him 7 million votes. Since Trump's first term began, Melania has only smiled in public 12 times in photographs. I relied on Google and Trump. He smiles every day because he believes he is a genius, but what genius has a wife who looks like she wants to escape every time she is seen? The crowd exploded again and cheers echoed around the studio. Rock sat back down, arms outstretched, as if he had just completed a fantastic set. I'm merely expressing what everyone is thinking. Melania is a luxury prisoner, while Trump is the self-appointed warden with the worst wig on the globe. She does not need me to speak for her. Simply look at her face compared to his. I believe she has a divorce drafted and is simply waiting for his term to expire before sending it. Samantha made an uneasy laugh. Chris, you are taking it to another level. Rock shrugged, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Samantha, it's my job. I speak the truth and it's funnier than any screenplay Trump has ever devised. Rock sat back after his astonishing diatribe, a smile lingering on his lips, waving the mic as if he just won a fight. Samantha Pierce, her eyes wide with astonishment and eagerness, turned to Leavitt. Karoline, he just spoke extensively about the president's family. You've heard it all, what do you think? The audience became hushed, all eyes on Leavitt. She took a deep breath, lifted her hands from the table, and stood erect, her razor-sharp glare piercing through Rock. The studio air became thick as if everyone felt a storm approaching. Leavitt took a stride towards Rock, her voice calm yet stern. Chris, you're done. Now let me show you what truth looks like. Rock raised an eyebrow and attempted to jump in. Oh, the child wants to play. All right, but Leavitt lifted her hand, shutting him off, her voice drowning out the audience's scattered laughter. Chris, don't call me a child. I am the White House press secretary and I am not here to play cheap comedic games with you. You think you can stand there, make up stories about the president's family and laugh it off like a street clown? You were mistaken. The audience became silent, with a few mouths falling. Rock inclined his head, attempting to maintain his confidence. I'm only stating what everyone sees. Melania, Leavitt interrupted again, his voice increasing. No, you are not speaking the truth, you are lying and I am going to prove it right now. She turned to face the crowd, her tone solid as steel. Chris had just said that Melania is a luxury prisoner who signed the worst contract in history. Where did you acquire your statistics, Google, or that imaginative mind of yours? I've got genuine statistics. During President Trump's first term, the First Lady hosted over 50 charity events, visited with more than 30 heads of state, and represented the country on 15 overseas visits. That is not a prisoner, but a determined, powerful, and dignified lady. And you stand here, telling stupid jokes about storms and contracts, expecting the audience to cheer forever. But I'm not going to let you exploit the president's family as a joke merely to get ratings for your next comedy show. The audience began grumbling, with a few applauding for Leavitt. Rock laughed, attempting to recover control. 50 charitable events? Oh, impressive. But have you counted how many times Melania glanced at Trump as if she wanted to leave? I think the number is far higher. Leavitt didn't flinch as he stepped closer, eyes fixed on him. You want to chat about looks? Fine, but I see a lady who supported her husband through every storm, from the campaign trail to the most difficult days in the White House. What do you know about it, Chris? Aside from your microphone and a hired audience listening to your gibberish, who have you stood by? The audience gasped and the applause became louder. Rock opened his lips to respond, but Leavitt pushed on, leaving him no opportunity. You're saying she wants Trump washed away? I have evidence otherwise. Melania has been with the president for nearly 20 years, through 3 campaigns and all criticism. It is not a prisoner. It is a commitment you cannot comprehend. Samantha jumped in. Karoline, you are putting up a strong defense. Leavitt turned towards her, voice still fierce. I'm not simply supporting Samantha. I'm correcting what Chris did wrong. He's standing here, making up things about a lady who isn't here to defend herself. You claim she seldom smiled in photos? I'm not sure how you counted, but I know Melania Trump doesn't need to grin to show she's powerful. You, Chris, need laughter to mask the fact that you have nothing to offer other than stale jokes. The crowd cheered enthusiastically, and Rock began to wobble, grasping the microphone harder. Stale? I'm Chris Rock and you can't. Let it cut him off again. Yeah, you're Chris Rock, but today you're simply a failing comic attempting to trash people for fame. Rock strove to keep his voice steady as it rose to stardom. I was renowned before you were born, child. Melania does not need you to defend her. She is intelligent enough to see Trump's. Leavitt interrupted with a chilly voice. Don't call me a child again, Chris. I was born for you. What were you born for? Standing here, slandering a family that has served our nation. You claim Trump wrecks everything. GDP increased by 3% during his first term, and unemployment fell to 3.5% prior to the pandemic. This is success, not failure. And you? What is your greatest victory? A comedy program shown on HBO 20 years ago. The audience exploded. Applause roaring and some yelling directly at Karoline. GDP flinched, attempting to butt into the Rock. Melania, stop turning this chat show into a news briefing. No, you are talking about the president's family. and I am here to defend them. Do you believe you can toss stones while hiding behind laughter? Not happening, Chris. Do you want the truth? Melania Trump worked relentlessly for children and peace, while you sat there insulting her. You call it humor, I call it cowardice. The crowd cheered again, drowning out Rock's last laughter. Samantha Pierce lifted a hand, attempting to control it. Okay, you are both quite powerful. But leaving wasn't enough. She glanced directly at Rock. You summoned my rescue squad? No, Chris, I'm the one cleaning up your mess. Want to make a joke? Joke about yourself, since you're the funniest person here tonight. Rock sat there, mic quivering in his fingers, grin gone, replaced by eyes burning with rage. Samantha Pierce lifted her hand, attempting to retake control. Okay, you're both incredibly powerful. Chris, do you want to respond? The audience became silent, waiting. Rock surged up, his voice loud, almost shrieking over the microphone. Respond? You think I'll sit here and let this child teach me? I am Chris Rock, and I don't need anybody instructing me what to say or do. The crowd mumbled, and a few feeble chuckles rose, but the previous energy had faded. Rock pointed to Leavitt. The voice shakes with wrath. Do you believe you are superior than me? You stand there spouting GDP stats as if I care. I'm not here for politics. I'm here to express what people perceive. Melania Trump looks at Donald like she wants to go, and you can't deny it. He approached Leavitt's table, slamming the microphone down, the sound splitting the air. I was performing comedy before you could read, child. I don't need you telling me what is cowardly or a failure. Who are you to speak to me like that? A few others in the crowd whistled, but the clapping faded, as if they could see him dissolving. Leavitt sat still, eyes never leaving Rock, lips squeezed into a tight line. She took a deep breath and stood, her voice icy as ice. Chris, you may shout and bang tables, but it doesn't make your remarks any more true. You call me child, but I'm the White House press secretary. I stand for reality, not the circus you've brought to the stage. The audience began applauding, and Leavitt's support grew. Rock attempted to cut in, is that true? Do you call that charity stat dump the truth? I see Melania, Leavitt interrupts, audio cuts, and you don't see anything. You fantasize, then tell cheap jokes for laughs. But I will not allow you use the first woman as a goal for your happiness. Rock took a step back, his face becoming hot and his voice shouting. No, I'm the only one here who dares to speak truthfully. Melania is trapped with Trump, and everyone knows it. You can cancel 50 charity events or 3% of GDP, but you can't alter how she stands next to him, like someone desperate to break free from that gilded prison. He turned to face the crowd, arms wide, and said, You all see I don't need stats. I have eyes. A few giggles broke out, but the enthusiasm was gone. Leavitt responded calmly yet sharply, saying, You have eyes, but not truth. You say she is stranded, but I see a lady who decided to remain and work for our nation. What have you done but stand here ranting like a tantrum-throwing child? The audience gasped, and ovation for Leavitt erupted. Rock flinched, attempting to claw back. Kid, you dare to call me a kid. My name is Chris Rock, and I have 3 Emmys, 2 Grammys, and millions of viewers each year. And you're simply Trump's lackey, reciting speeches he'll never write. He pointed directly at Leavitt, his voice shaking. You think you can defeat me with those numbers? I don't care. I say what people believe, and they laugh because I'm right. For the first time, Leavitt smiled, although coldly. They laugh because you are a clown, Chris. I don't need Emmys. I have truth. You call me a lackey, but I'm the one protecting the president's family from people like you, who believe lying and yelling are talents. Samantha Pierce broke in, along with Chris, Karoline, and you. But Rock interrupted her, his voice shaking, saying, No, let me talk. She can't get me to stop talking. Melania is a prisoner. I bet she drafted the divorce document on the day Trump looked at the eclipse like an idiot. I don't need you, youngster, to tell me what is genuine. He slapped the microphone down again, panting. Leavitt drew closer, his voice quiet yet forceful. I bet you have nothing except a large mouth. You claim she drafted a divorce document. I can tell you Melania Trump has been with the president for nearly 20 years. Every difficulty is something you'd never understand since you hide behind laughter when you're exposed. The crowd surged in cheers, drowning out Rock's shouts. He pointed at Leavitt, his voice unsteady, and said, "You can't beat me." Leavitt cut in one final time, voice like iron, "You've got to face it. Tonight you're the loser, shout all you want. But the truth is unchanging, as I recently demonstrated to millions." The audience rose, applauding loudly, and Leavitt's shouts filled the studio. Rock stood there, cheeks heated, microphone sliding from his grasp, gaze flitting between wrath and perplexity. He attempted to grin, but it twisted, and no confidence remained. Samantha Pierce raised her hand, her voice trembling. "All right, I believe we need a break." But Leavitt sat down, still staring at Rock. "Samantha, I don't need a break. I'm finished, and so is he." Rock turned to the crowd, attempting to yell, "I'm not done." But Leavitt's applause absorbed everything. He took a step back, breathing heavily and clenching his hands. The flashing lights struck Chris Rock. Still standing there, face crimson, microphone hanging like an expended weapon. Karoline Leavitt sat across, her cold gaze steadfast. A small grin flashed as a victory symbol. Samantha Pierce addressed the camera, her voice shaking but still professional. "This drama has just reached a new high, and Chris is losing momentum quickly. We'll take a break, but don't go away." The audience rose, clapping mixed with shouts, some shouting, and Karoline's performance was spectacular. Rock whirled around, eyes searching the crowd, and then tossed the microphone to the floor, causing a smash. He rushed out stage left, not looking back, while Leavitt rose, fixed her suit, gave Samantha a tiny grin, and walked off stage right. The studio's giant screen displayed the Pulse logo, but the audience's buzz continued. Some lifted their phones to record Rock's leaving, while others spoke enthusiastically. "Chris just got knocked out." Someone yelled. "Karoline is very powerful. She crushed him." Another responded. On social media, the hashtag RockV is Leavitt soared to the top of the trending list minutes later, with postings spreading like wildfire. Chris Rock has just lost the battle of his career, and Karoline Leavitt is the comeback queen. The stage drama was concluded, but the aftermath had just begun. Backstage, Rock stomped through the green room door, panting, as his manager Tony, a middle-aged man with gray hair, waiting with his phone.